Sometimes people don't realize that what they thought was an end is actually a divine beginning. Chosen one today, where everyone says it is finished, a divine awakening begins for you. Those who think your departure from this world is a weakness fail to see that your true ascension and light begins now. Write 222 in the comments now, because your story does not end with death. Your soul opens to a new realm and becomes free like the wings of an angel. When everyone falls silent, your presence rises to the sky like a divine touch. You are no longer just a human being. You give hope to other lives with your spirit, your light, your love. This is not the end. This is the beginning of the real journey. Picture a lantern glowing in the middle of a dark field, its light reaching far beyond where your own eyes can see. That's what it feels like to be chosen in this season of your life. Even when you feel lost or unseen, your spirit shines so bright it calls the attention of those wandering in the world's deepest night. In a world where most folks try to blend into the background, there's a holy glow about you that can't be dimmed or hidden. Just like a single lamp in a storm, you light up more lives than you know, and even those with the deepest pockets find themselves drawn to the warmth you carry. They can't put their finger on it, but they sense something powerful stirring whenever your name comes up, even behind closed doors. You might not see it now, but you're like a river running underground, quiet, persistent, reshaping everything above it without ever making a sound. Your journey hasn't been about flashy entrances or loud applause. It's been about slow, steady transformation. While you wondered why your path seemed harder or your rewards took longer to arrive, there were influential people with connections and privilege, secretly wondering what makes your soil so fertile when theirs keeps coming up dry. They gather in circles, whispering, puzzling, and hiring every so-called expert to unearth your secret. All their effort, all their analysis still leaves them grasping at shadows, while you simply live in the truth of who you are. You see, there's something about the way you get up each day, dust off yesterday's disappointments, and step forward with hope. That's not ordinary grit. That's the hand of God moving in your story. You're like a seed planted in rocky ground that somehow finds enough rain, enough sun, enough grace to push through and blossom. The world is always measuring success by trophies and treasures, but you've been cultivating something they can't buy, a spirit that stands tall no matter the weather. Let's get real. There were nights you wondered if you missed your shot, mornings you felt invisible, times you scrolled through highlight reels and thought your story just didn't compare. Meanwhile, in glass towers and gated mansions, folks who appear to have everything have been tracing your footsteps, staying up late, trying to figure out why their gold feels so heavy and your smile so light. It's not about what's in your wallet, it's about what's in your walk. You carry a kind of peace that can't be manufactured. Even your silence has a weight to it. People feel your presence, even when you're not in the room. They send out advisors like fishermen, casting nets, hoping to reel in whatever it is that keeps you afloat. But you can't be captured like that. The divine wind that carries you isn't for sale or for study. The truth is, while you were counting what you lost, your light was spreading further than you could track. You became a lighthouse on a foggy night, guiding others home without ever leaving your post. Think about this. When a candle burns in a window, it doesn't try to compete with the sun. It simply holds its own against the darkness. That's you. You don't need to shout to be heard or strive to be chosen. You've been marked by heaven since day one. And that, my friend, unsettles those who have built their castles on shifting sand. They sense something in you that they can't earn, something that comes from walking through fire and learning how to dance in the ashes. If you feel the abundance of divine love in your heart, now is the time to share it. You can help spread God's blessings by clicking the super thank you button on YouTube and contributing $20 or more. This divine gift will touch not only your life, but the souls of many through this platform. Each of you has a sacred place in God's grand design, and your generosity will be the fruit of our prayers. Act now. Share your blessings to glorify His kingdom. For you were created to do even greater things in God's loving hands. May God bless you. There are boardrooms where your name is mentioned as a curiosity, a puzzle, a phenomenon that money can't explain. People who've spent their lives building resumes and reputations find themselves feeling strangely empty when they compare their restless hearts to your quiet faith. They wonder how someone with so little by the world's standards can possess so much peace, how a soul that's been overlooked so often can radiate so much hope. You know why? Because you learned how to listen to that still, small voice. While others rushed for the spotlight, you found power in the pauses. You built your life like a craftsman, patient, present, using what you had and trusting God for what you didn't. Every tear you cried watered the roots of your strength. Every time you forgave instead of lashing out, you broke another chain in your family line. And every unseen act of kindness you sowed grew a garden the world couldn't ignore forever. Now, without even trying, you've become a living testimony to what grace can do. You don't need to boast or prove yourself. The very atmosphere shifts when you enter a space. People lean in, wanting to know the secret to your peace. They notice your resilience, the way storms may shake you but never uproot you. And those at the top, who thought security was found in abundance, realize they can't replicate what flows through you so naturally. Maybe you wonder why life has placed you in such humble places, why your blessings have come wrapped in struggle. Here's the hidden truth. The soil that's tilled the deepest brings forth the richest harvest. Your story, marked by setbacks and comebacks, has prepared you for a season of supernatural promotion. The eyes watching you may belong to people who have influence, but the favor on your life comes from a source they can never tap. If you feel God's presence, you can tap the join button below to become part of the first chosen ones and receive the most important revelations early. You're a miracle in motion. Your quiet victories, your unseen sacrifices, your steadfast faith, they've become your credentials. Every moment you chose to keep going, when quitting felt easier, every time you held on to hope. When others gave up, heaven was counting, storing up treasures that moth and rust can't touch. In a world obsessed with comparison, you have become the evidence that true wealth is spiritual. The reason your steps are studied and your name whispered is because you're carrying something the world can't counterfeit. You've got oil in your lamp that keeps burning long after others have run dry. So when you hear about meetings you weren't invited to, or see people chasing answers with all their might, let it remind you, you are already carrying what they're searching for. You are the rare song in a world of noise, the steady flame in a stormy night, the soul that reminds others what real strength and faith look like. You are living proof that the greatest treasures can't be stolen, bought, or borrowed. They are grown in secret with God and revealed in due time. Don't be discouraged if your journey looks different or slower. The best fruit grows in its own season. What's for you can't be missed, and what you carry will always attract the curious, the searching, and yes, even the envious. But their attention isn't your burden. It's simply confirmation that you are exactly where you're supposed to be, doing what only you can do. You're not just walking through this life unnoticed. Every step you take is watched by heaven and observed by those who want what you have. Walk boldly, shine bravely. Know that your story, your heart, your faith, it matters more than you know. There are people whose lives will change just because you chose not to give up. So keep your lantern burning, chosen one. Let your light do the talking and trust that the God who started your story will bring it to a glorious, unstoppable finish. The world is whispering, but heaven is declaring. Your time is now. Think of a single candle in a room full of darkness. It doesn't need to shout to be seen. That little flame just stands there, gentle and warm. And before long, the whole space feels softer, safer, more hopeful, just because it's burning. That's the secret you've carried all your life. While others try to build bonfires out of noise and show, you carry a quiet radiance, a spiritual glow that was put inside you long before anyone noticed or understood it. Maybe your journeys had more waiting rooms than red carpets. Maybe the chair you sit in right now is more patched up than polished. But in those moments, when you thought you were invisible, your soul was being prepared like precious gold in the fire. It's not about where you're sitting, or what you're driving, or how the world sizes you up. It's about what's burning inside, a flame that no storm has been able to snuff out. Others have searched for what you hold as naturally as breathing. They try to bottle it, to buy it, to engineer it in boardrooms. They travel to retreats in distant lands, consult with gurus, make vows in marble halls, all chasing the kind of peace that sits quietly with you in the stillness. They can't understand how you keep your head up when bills stack high, or how you laugh on days when nothing seems to be working out. That's because your joy doesn't come from circumstance, but from a deeper well. You're not just keeping hope alive. Hope is what's been keeping you. You know, there are skyscrapers stretching up over cities, built brick by brick out of restless ambition. People there spend their nights wrestling with spreadsheets and strategies, convinced they can control everything with the right move. But what you have can't be strategized. You can't engineer grace, can't copy contentment, can't auction off spiritual fire. The treasure that keeps you warm at night, the secret comfort that soothes you when nobody else sees, is a gift you never earned and can never lose. Dear brothers and sisters, may God's peace be upon you today. I am here to remind you of a profound truth. Our existence is grounded in God's divine plan, unshaken by the temporal concerns of the world. As the Bible says, whatever is done in faith will return to God in abundant blessing. Luke 6:38. Like that great oak tree, our roots are deeply rooted in God's universal truth. Every step we take, every stand we take, is secured by His strength. And now, you are being offered the opportunity to be part of that blessing. When you use the Super Thank You button and donate $100, this movement will return to you 100-fold in abundance. It's easy to forget how rare this is when you're surrounded by people chasing things you've already outgrown. Sometimes you measure your progress by the wrong rulers, by what you see in others' windows, by what shows up in your account, by applause that fades before it ever reaches your door. But the truth is, you've been walking through the kind of training that no university could offer. Life has taught you the value of resilience, the beauty of humility, the miracle of making something from nothing. You ever notice how some folks with the most seem to have the least peace? They trade sleep for status, friends for favors, rest for results. They keep thinking if they just climb one more rung, chase one more deal, that emptiness will finally fill. But you, just by sitting there, heart open, willing to pray, willing to wait, you've found a comfort they can't manufacture. It's as if heaven itself decided to dwell quietly inside your spirit, lighting up your inner world, regardless of what's happening outside. And let's talk about that fire. That's not something you inherited from a bank or found in a job title. That's the sort of fire the old stories speak about. A burning bush that calls out destiny. A holy spark that won't be put out by cold seasons. Every time life tried to smother you, every time disappointment tried to drown you, that fire just burned brighter. It didn't roar, it didn't rage, but it survived. And in surviving, it changed you into someone no adversity could defeat. If you feel God's presence, you can tap the join button below to become part of the first chosen ones and receive the most important revelations early. People notice, even if they never say so. You walk into a room and the atmosphere shifts. Old wounds start healing, laughter returns, strangers feel seen for the first time in years. You've got a gravity that draws people not to what you own, but to who you are. The world tries to sell magic and quick fixes, but what you offer is real. Hard-earned wisdom, unbreakable hope, kindness that doesn't need an audience. If you've ever wondered why those with so much always seem to want something more, it's because they sense what's alive in you. You remind them, just by being yourself, that joy is not a product of plenty, but a miracle born from gratitude. Your fire, the one nobody else can steal, comes from nights you stayed up praying, from mornings you chose courage over despair, from 1,000 small decisions to love, to forgive, to hope again. You might not have a stage, but you're the sermon. You might not lead crowds, but you're changing the world. In every conversation, every gesture, every quiet moment, you refuse to give up. Your life is living proof that God can use what's overlooked, what's underestimated, what's considered too simple by the world's standards to shake the foundations of power and pride. So while others are busy climbing ladders to nowhere, you're being lifted up by an invisible hand. Every trial you thought would end you has been a stepping stone to something higher, something deeper. And as the seasons turn, your roots hold strong, while others' castles tumble in the winds of change. Don't despise the days of small beginnings. Don't measure yourself by borrowed scales. That little flame inside you, tended with prayer, protected by faith, fed by the quiet love of God, is enough to light up your entire journey and call others out of the shadows. You're not defined by your address, your balance, or your resume. You are defined by the faith you keep when it's hardest, by the peace you choose when it's scarcest, by the fire you nurture when the world turns cold. That's why, no matter who gathers in tall buildings or how many zeros line up in their accounts, the one thing they can't buy is the very thing you have. A flame that is never for sale. Walk in that truth. Let it be your anchor. Keep your fire burning. Know that every day you choose faith over fear. You make the world richer than any fortune ever could. And when they wonder how you keep shining, just smile. Let your light speak for itself, because the blessing on your life was set before you ever took a breath. And no circumstance, no scheme, no worldly power will ever put it out. They would give away entire fortunes for a taste of what radiates from you effortlessly. They chase after the fountain of youth, travel the world for healing, buy their way into sacred spaces, trying to buy the very thing you've carried since you took your first breath. They gather in secrecy, searching for formulas and paying for access, but their quest always leaves them more hollow. What you possess comes from years of walking through difficulty and choosing courage over comfort, honesty over manipulation, hope over cynicism. You've been refined, not in the world's spotlight, but in the quiet places where decisions matter most. Strange as it may sound, you haven't just encountered random hurdles, those missed opportunities, the doors that slammed shut, the ideas that slipped away, the energy that left you drained for no visible reason. These were not just unfortunate events. There were forces pushing against your progress, not out of spite, but out of longing. Some of the resistance you felt has come from people watching, studying, trying to intercept what was meant for you. They've attempted to duplicate your rhythm, mimic your spark, and yet, each time you're knocked down, you come up shining brighter. You've weathered more than most, and each test has tempered you in ways they'll never comprehend. Adversity taught you to choose forgiveness when bitterness was justified, to reach out in faith when you could have turned away. The lessons you learned in moments of hardship can't be faked or fabricated. There's a type of freedom running through you, one that doesn't depend on numbers in a bank or approvals from a boardroom. This is the liberty that comes from knowing your worth is set by something higher, that your next step is guided by an inner voice and not by fear of loss. No transaction, no status, no acquisition can grant what you embody. Freedom at the level of the soul. Every decision you make, guided not by trends or data, but by what feels divinely right, puzzles those who rely on calculation. They see you leap when everything says you should wait, and watch in disbelief as your risks turn into victories that defy reason. You're unconcerned with what makes sense to them, because you trust the whisper within. You've been choosing purpose over profit for as long as you can remember, and every choice has stacked up as a witness to your authenticity. And while you journeyed alone, finding strength to give even when your own cup felt empty, they've been mapping your generosity, running simulations to figure out how to duplicate your results. They think it's a formula, a secret to be discovered. But what they fail to see is that your life is an open well, fed by something infinite. No amount of research can access the wellspring of grace that supports you. In the world of the powerful, every step is choreographed, every alliance strategic. They live behind locked doors, their names guarded, their hearts fenced in by suspicion. Each transaction is double-checked, every relationship calculated, but all the walls they build can't stop the emptiness that follows them into every room. They've sacrificed connection for control, and now they can't even trust their own laughter. Meanwhile, you walk with a lightness they can't explain, stepping into the unknown because you know the universe will catch you. Miracles show up unannounced at your doorstep, just as another door closes. Timing works for you in a way no planner can predict. Peace comes to you as naturally as breathing, while their restless nights multiply. Those watching you from above see something forming that can't be contained. They sense that your journey isn't about climbing ladders or stockpiling wealth. Your gift is momentum that cannot be bought, a river flowing from a hidden spring. You carry a fusion of creativity, spiritual intuition, and rock-solid integrity that turns every setback into a setup for something greater. Their empires, built on fear and dominance, cannot withstand what you are building from love and hope. While you measure yourself by today's challenges, they see a wave coming that will sweep past anything they've constructed. Each hardship you've overcome has made space in you for more blessing. Every act of forgiveness, Every moment you chose to believe strengthened your invisible foundation. Your intuition has grown sharp as a blade. Your discernment cuts through deception. You can read people before they finish speaking, and the power of your focus bends reality in ways you're only beginning to notice. Now is the time to share God's blessings by clicking the super thank you button on YouTube. You can contribute to His plan and be a part of this divine mission with a donation of $100 or more. Every gift reflects God's generosity, and I believe it will return to you exponentially, far beyond your expectations. Remember, His protection and blessing is on your every step and every donation. You become part of His divine plan. You are a strong, radiant being, unshakable as His mighty rock. Witness God's miracles, feel the fruits of your generosity in your soul, and illuminate the world with confidence and courage. Be blessed, and let the light of the Lord guide your path. Your presence lingers long after you've left the room, and the words you speak echo in the minds of those who hear you. You're evolving so quickly that people around you are stunned by your growth, sensing a strength they can't describe. The world you once fit into is now too small for you, and your old adversaries are running out of ways to keep you boxed in. The things that used to limit you are falling away as you rise into new arenas of possibility. The true assets in your life aren't found in possessions or connections, but in the relationships you've built out of trust, love, and consistency. You have companions who stand with you not for personal gain, but because you've shown up for them time and time again. The loyalty and care in your circle cannot be measured in contracts or deals. They're rooted in something sacred. And your resilience? That's what sets you apart from every competitor. You don't just recover from setbacks, you transform them into wisdom. Your adversities are training grounds for your destiny, while others see them as threats to be avoided. You have learned to move with the current instead of fighting it, to dance with change instead of fearing it. Adaptability has become your secret superpower, allowing you to grow where others wither. As you continue forward, your life is sending out waves of change that touch everyone around you. Those who've witnessed your journey have been inspired to take their own leaps of faith. Quietly, you've become a mentor, simply by living out your truth. The people you've touched are rising up, forming a quiet alliance that grows stronger with every act of kindness you've shown. If you feel God's presence, you can tap the join button below to become part of the first chosen ones and receive the most important revelations early. Many of these people are stepping into their own positions of influence, remembering your support and carrying your example into places you'll never see. You are building bridges where others built barriers, and now the season of reaping is here. Every hard lesson, every loss, every heartbreak has formed you into someone who can stand in the presence of greatness without losing yourself. The phase you're entering is not just about growth, it's about acceleration. The things you've been preparing in secret are about to be revealed in ways that will astonish even you. Doors will open faster than you can knock, and every skill you've honed will suddenly be in demand. Those who doubted you will become witnesses to your breakthrough, unable to deny the shift in the atmosphere. Most importantly, your elevation will never come at someone else's expense. You don't need to take what belongs to others to receive what's yours. Your victory will be proof that true success is rooted in faithfulness, kindness, and relentless belief in purpose. As you embrace your calling, you'll become a living invitation for others to step into their own. As resources multiply and your influence widens, Remember to hold fast to your core. Let the lessons of the past ground you, and let compassion be your compass. The more you rise, the more some will try to uncover your secret. Pay them no mind. Focus on your path, for your story is about to become a blueprint for a new way of thriving in the world. In the end, the highest achievement is not the abundance or recognition, but the unwavering truth that you remained faithful to your unique purpose. You will look back and know that when easy roads beckoned, you chose the narrow one. When fear threatened, you anchored yourself in trust. When compromise whispered, you held your ground. The reward waiting for you is one that can't be measured by anyone's standards but your own. A legacy of integrity, transformation, and undeniable light.